back, guys. It's another episode of Zapp Talk. Hopefully you survived last week because I think the average person spent like $200 on books because everything came out.
Well, because you guys, had to suffer that terrible burden of buying books, we made sure that not a lot came out this week.
Yeah, this week, like, nothing major comes out. Like, I don't know why I didn't split it up.
You're welcome. So you can figure, you can get other things like magnets.
A cool electromagnet from like 2001. It's great.
That's great. You know the best part? It has nothing to do with anybody that had to do with that movie.
Anyways, Mighty Avengers #1 finally comes out. They've been talking about this book for a long time. I don't know how well it's going to do. There's not much buzz for it. It's interesting. It's got a neat cast. What do you think about it, Dave?
So it's weird because they're like, oh, an all-new Avengers team that will be the Avengers team that's different than the other guys. And this time it's led by Luke Cage. And
which is cool. I like Luke Cage.
But it sounds very familiar. Like it feels like another new Avengers book. Now that the new Avengers is basically old Avengers, this is the newer new Avengers. But it's got a strange team. People you don't really see too much. You got 2 Power Men. You have Luke Cage and other Power Man.
Like a new guy?
Yeah, there's a new guy. They have the Scotty Young variant where he's telling him to wear the headband.
Yeah, that one's cool.
He's all froed up. You got that. Got Superior Spider-Man. They're teasing that there's somebody in an ill-fitting Spider-Man suit as well.
No, it's Superior. He wears a different costume in this, right?
Yeah.
Or no?
He's wearing the kind of like the Ross suit.
Okay.
But there's a bunch of people. There's one of the ex-Spider-Woman there.
Is She-Hulk in this one?
She's on the variants. I think they're going to be adding She-Hulk into it a little bit later.
I know when her book was canceled, they said that she was going to pop up in here. So
I think that's what this book's. They're going to have a lot of people popping up in here. So
it's interesting. See. It was a lot of hype, and but there's not much like fans clamoring for it. So I want to see how it is. It's kind of like a B-list team, but I hope it works because there's a lot of characters in there that don't get much screen time. So.
And Marvel does so many books, just teams where everybody's a loose cannon and everybody's a heavy hitter. Well, Hickman took every single Avenger to space in like the past couple months. So they basically said like no one's at Earth, no one's on Earth. So these are the people that are left on Earth. Thanos is like, I don't know, they're fighting the galactic battle. Meanwhile, he sends his forces to Earth, and these guys aren't going to have it.
All right. See what happens. So Mighty Avengers #1 hits this week. East to West finally gets its trade paperback. It's going to collect the first 5 issues, obviously by Jonathan Hickman. One of the top-selling Image books across the board. It's right behind Saga as far as sales. Saga. And Saga's huge, so East to West is a very solid book. Obviously, it doesn't hit Walking Dead numbers, but if it's on par with Saga, it's a big deal. Best part about this, it's only $10. Any trade that's $10, I will push forever because that is the best thing you can ever do. You get a nice beginning arc. It's $10. If you don't like it, it's like you don't feel like you're wasting money. Because some books, like Infinity #1 was $5. You read that, you don't know what's going on, and you're like, I already spent $5. Spend $10 on this, and you get a nice part of the story.
A lot of times, I feel like these books really work well.
Look at Walking Dead was $10 for years.
Yeah.
I mean, now it's $15, but they don't need it anymore because everybody reads it. But for years, that was the easiest selling point for Walking Dead. It was the first 6 issues. It dealt with the whole thing with Shane, is where it ended. And people were like, what? And you were just hooked. So when you picked up the second one, it was $15. You didn't even look at it. So for these trades to be $10 is amazing.
Way to go, Image.
5 Ghosts of Haunting of Fabian Gray comes out later this month. That's also going to be $10 for the first trade. Amazing. Sex trade paperback, which comes out in November, is going to be the first 8 issues, I believe, and that's going to be $10.
8 issues?
They're like $3.50.
What a deal!
That's awesome.
That's so much sex for so little money.
That comes out, I think, November 27th, so you got a little ways to wait for the sex. So, calm down.
What if you can't wait? Oh, I forgot. You can get the individual.
Yeah, but that's $3.50 a pop. Speaking of Infinity, there's Infinity Hunt #1 comes out. There's a couple little miniseries coming out. This is one of them. I'm not really sure what this one's about. It's written by Matt Kindt, who writes Mind Management, which is a super hot book.
You know what this is the official Zapp Comics back to school pick.
As certified by Dave.
That's right.
So what's it about that?
Well, the reason it's that pick is because it's all about schools. It's all about it's like Hank Pym, Wolverine, and She-Hulk. Apparently, they all have something to do with schools, with like young hero kids. So they're like, okay, guys, we're going on an outing. We're gonna make the schools challenge each other and stuff, as schools often do. It's very Harry Potterish.
Is it like a new contest of champions?
It's a contest of champions. There's gonna be schools that we've never heard of before. But oh no, once they try to like meet for champion battle, all Thanos' dudes show up, and they want to fight them. And they're like, why do they want to fight them? Find out.
So Infinity Hunt 1. You get Kick-Ass 3, number 3 comes out. This book's actually coming out semi-regular, which is pretty good because I don't know if you guys remember the first series took like 2 years to come out.
I remember.
So it's pretty cool. I know. I think Hit Girl's still in jail on this one.
Hit Girl's in jail, but now she runs every single gang.
Okay.
And Kick-Ass is just realizing the finer things in life. You don't have to be a superhero. You can just be a regular Joe Schmo like Corey Brown.
Hey, nothing wrong with that.
Or you can stand up and make a difference like Dave.
Dave who? Walking Dead comes out, and of course, Image never gives us much on it. What is the description for this week's Walking Dead?
What would Jesus do?
Yeah, I don't know. What would he do? I guess we'll have to find out.
Well, according to the cover and what I've seen in the past, you usually jump kick people. He reminds me of that one kid who only knew one move in Mortal Kombat. He's like, jump kick.
Maybe that's a specialty.
Probably.
And in a zombie world, they don't have a counteract tag.
Maybe a fatality is what he'll do. Who knows? All I know is that the last issue was intense.
Nice. Very nice.
It
It ended very nice.
Good Andrea issue.
Finally, the book picked up. It was really good. Andrea, who's my favorite character in the book, amazing. Again, we talked about it before. My least favorite character in any TV show ever was the Andrea character in Walking Dead.
Mm-hmm.
I hated her more than Carl. Yes, I said it.
They'll put like Benito Mussolini in a TV show, and he was more likable to Corey Brown
than that Andrea character. And to finish it off, Brian Wood's got a big week. Star Wars Ongoing number 9 by Dark Horse, as well as X-Men number 5 comes out. He writes both these books. They're both extremely top-selling books. Sell very well. The Star Wars one, people love it because it's the original crew, from the original trilogy continued. I wish Dark Horse had done this a couple years ago. Now that they're going to lose the license in a year or so, it kind of, it's going to be ending soon. But it's still cool. And X-Men 5, which I think should be called All New X-Men because this is the female group. So it's weird that this is called X-Men. This should be All New X-Men in my eyes. But then again, it doesn't matter what the title is because they're all...
Write a letter. Old Avengers and All New X-Men. Old Avengers.
So that's it. Like I said, there's a lot of residue from last week. Also, it's still Villains Month. We didn't want to go over it because everybody's going crazy for the 3D covers and all the point ones, the villains.
I saw Riddler. I saw Lobo on that list. There's a
Harlequin. We didn't have to mention it because if you don't know that, then you don't come into comic book stores. So, not that we didn't want to bring them up. We don't need to. So
you know what we're talking about. You guys, that's old news.
Yeah, you guys are hip. And
you'll be here. We'll have them.
Yeah, we'll have them. So
who knows? Actually,
come on in.
Come in if you want them.
Yep.
Because they're going quick.
Again, Corey, Dave, Zapp Comics. See you guys soon.
Was that weird?
Yeah, very weird.
That was the weirdest thing I can think to do.
Okay.